Welcome back. There's no denying Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a trailblazer for women. She blazed a trail in the legal world as well. Her influence and impact still being felt today. One of the women influenced by RBG is with us tonight. Niki Crabtree, a law student at the U, joins us via Zoom tonight. Niki, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Niki, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. How did RBG pave the way for women making strides in the legal and justice system, and what was her role in achieving equal rights in the U.S.?
Sure. So RBG actually paved the way for women through all of her extensive work as an attorney for the ACLU, litigating sex gender claims through many courts all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, including and especially for the Virginia Military Institute, that case that Dean Kronk-Warner mentioned earlier. And she really just accomplished so many things that were groundbreaking for a woman at the time, and continued to advocate in an incredible way for gender equality and for equal justice under the law. And she really leaves behind an incredible legacy for female attorneys and for female law students who want to be like her and to help continue her work, because her work is far from over.
And like we introduced you at the beginning, you are a law school at the University of Utah. So did Ginsburg ever play a role in the confidence or encouragement that you have in pursuing a career in our country's legal and justice system as a woman in law school?
Yes, she absolutely did. Justice Ginsburg was actually one of my role models beginning in undergrad when I first learned of all of the amazing and incredible work that she has done for women in this country. And she was a major inspiration to me as I was going through the process of applying to law schools. And I'm just hoping that I can channel some of her spirit and her eloquence and her quiet determination when I become an attorney. I think it's incredibly important for women to have role models like Justice Ginsburg, who were able to break barriers in a field that is so traditionally dominated by men, because it shows that women do have a place at the table and that we have earned a place at the table and that we belong, in her words, in all the places where the decisions are being made.
Yeah, and I think that when we look at the legacy of Ginsburg, we can agree that we've come such a long way, partially thanks to her. Do you think we still have a long way to go? And, you know, does that put kind of sort of motivation in future attorneys like you to do something about it, to maybe carry on her legacy?
Absolutely. Like I said, I think that her work is far from over. I think it's a fight that a lot of us are feeling very motivated to kind of take up her mantle and sort of continue on with what she's been doing. She just leaves behind such a rich and storied legacy through her work as an attorney and a jurist, and as a person, you know, from all of the wonderful people who considered her a friend, a mentor, a mother, a grandmother, anybody who had the great privilege to know her. She was such a model for civility and judicial compassion. And I think that she will live on in all of us who do want to continue her work. And I think, you know, as was mentioned before, she's incredibly infamous for her dissents. And I think that one of the best things that we can really do to honor her is to quietly but firmly dissent in the face of injustice, just like she did.
Now, obviously the impact was felt at the University of Utah Law School. You guys had a vigil for her over the weekend. How did you feel when you heard about her passing? How did your fellow classmates feel when they heard of her passing?
I think it came as a shock to all of us. We were actually discussing earlier that week how tenacious she was and how she just seemed like she was hanging on for all of us and trying to maintain all of the different ways in which she supported us. So it came as a real blow to me. It came as a real blow to everybody that I spoke with. I think the vigil was an incredibly important event for the law school community and the legal community as a whole to gather in what limited way that we could and to honor her and discuss memories of her. I know that there are professors who have clerked for her, like Professor Sin, who teaches criminal law up at the U. And I think it was really important for all of us to sort of collectively grieve and mourn for her.
What does the future look like for you? What are some issues that you hope to tackle once you're done with law school and then begin your career? We have about a minute left.
Sure. So one of the things that I think is really important is her fight for gender equality. It's one of the things that she's most famous for. And I think that, you know, I wish that we didn't have to be having this conversation about equal justice under do. And I know that I'm entering into a field that is incredibly dominated by men, that has been set up by men. And I think that it's really important for me as a woman to be able to come into this profession and sort of try and make my mark in the fields that I want to pursue and try to be a little bit more like Justice Ginsburg.
Yeah, Niki Crabtree, law student at the University of Utah. Hey, keep hanging on. Thank you so much for joining us via Zoom tonight. Thank you for sharing your story.